And I need lip balm. Alrighty. Where's my window? Excuse me. I got the burps. Party Pants, is that a good place for you? He's like, Ma, I just stand wherever drives you craziest the most, Ma. You know that's what I do, Ma. Good boy, Hardy Pants. Drive me crazy. Real good boy. Good boy, Hardy Pants. Good boy. Find your spot, home slice. You're so cute. Don't be mad, Ma. Alrighty. Okay. Let's talk about how we feel about things. Hi, my name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka empath, and that's what I do. I collect data and then talk about how I feel about things. Essentially. It's been kind of a... Everywhere I go, I'll ask people, how are people mostly? You know? Like, as far as behavior. So it gives me a broader scope. Because I ask the people that are working directly with the public at high volumes. Like at the grocery store. Today I went to a new place. I went to a feed store I never went to. Got a cool rake. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about raking up the weeds in the yard. Anyway. This is a little obnoxious. So I had a day. I was celebrating life today. Is what I was trying to do. While I was listening to a funeral service on YouTube. It was really kind of interesting. I was paying homage to a life. So, they laid Jagger to peace. May he rest in paradise, peace, wherever his spirit roams. It's his spirits everywhere. But it was a wonderful turnout. All kinds of people turned out. The family got a lot of support. It was amazing. It was like, because the facilities are big. It's a big facility. I actually got some screenshots. So, and I'd been in here before because I went to a funeral service here. I actually went to a wedding before that. But, I'm a girl. Hey, baby girl. But, and I'd been to a funeral service in here, but it didn't have the people in it that showed up for this 14-year-old young man, Jagger Shaw, today. I mean, it was really remarkable. It was really, really, really remarkable. It's the power of one, of what they can do and the frequency of love that they can bring and hold. And when it was the procession, they had a big old procession down to his final resting place. They had a bunch of hot rods and stuff. And he likes all that guy stuff. He like, go faster. He's he likes all that stuff. And he didn't have oxygen to his brain for a while. Cause he had a food allergy. And he ate something with nuts in it. And it just went downhill from there. So I went out to the coffee shop, robbed into my buddy Augustine, and took him to the feed store to get pellets for his horses, and then we went back to see horses. It's always good to be out in nature and you know, around animals and stuff like that. That's my religion. Earth is my religion. Nature is my religion. It's in me. That's my connection source. I see how everything flows and moves together, and when humans manipulate that, it makes it weird. I'm seeing a lot of that in the world today. I mean, everybody is. It's not just me, but a lot of people just don't care. I mean, they really don't. They just want to freaking get by in life. They want to keep their heads down. They want to stay out of trouble. They just want to pay their bills. Yeah. I keep acting like that, and things might get worse. Anyway, so a little update on the fire that we're having here in New Mexico. Down by Angel Fire. This is a good story. I just told Ma this story, but it bears repeating. That we're not having rain. I keep dancing, and rain's not coming. So that ain't a possibility right now. Hi, pretty girl. Hi, prettiness. This is the first time she's been out all day. I don't know what prednisone does to dogs. I don't know if it makes them. I think it makes them drink more water. But I don't know if it makes them lethargic. I don't know. Anyway, that's how she's been. But we all are. Ain't nobody want to do anything. I do, but they don't. They're all old dogs, so they're retired. They don't got to do nothing. Anyway, so rain's not coming. I keep looking at the forecast. I keep setting my... And so I'm like, you know what? Last night, this was really cool. I set my intention for something different. Okay? I just try stuff. I get ideas and I just try them. And it's cool because when I picked up my buddy Augustine, I told him what I did. He's Native American. I'm Native American. And it's like we get to have conversation from spirit. When we gather, when we fellowship, and we do that when we go feed his horses and stuff like that, right? So I'm like, so Augustine, last night what I did is I set my intention, since we're not getting the rain, that I visualize in my mind the coolness, like a blue coolness, like a blue color, like a blue back here, like the blue this way, like a coolness coming up from the core of the earth and embracing the land underneath where the fire is, down in Angel Fire, right? And cooling it earth to help fight the fire at night, to diminish so they can get on top of it more at night. Because daytime, man, it like winds come out, it's just the plume today was insane. Augustine, God puts the best people in my path to teach me. He, for a number of years, fought fires, so I got to ask him questions about it, like his interpretations. Like I'm like right now, the plume is huge. Not now, but this was earlier when I was with him. I said the plume is huge. I said, what's making it that color? Because that ain't a natural color. He said they're putting retardant on it, that pink shit that's like snow. Okay. And then later I'm like, are they putting retardant on it? Or are they putting accelerant on it? Because they're freaking... the plume was huge today, but now it's like died down. So, but this is the cool part. After I set my intention, and then I told Augie about doing that, right? I came home and I got on Twitter. This stuff, I freaking love this stuff. Because I was like, Augustine, why don't people like gather and to like get 6:02 this evening? I was on Twitter just doing a quick scroll just to see what's going on in the collective consciousness from these people's perspective. And I got a screenshot of it. It was from this weather guy down in Albuquerque. And look what it says. I don't know if you could read it. Right there. But it says, Angel Fire, New Mexico was the coldest place in the lower 48 this morning, dropping to a low temperature of 16 degrees. How freaking cool is that, Ma? How cool is that? I freaking love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. That is what keeps me going in life. Stuff like that. Right? So I was asking the people how everywhere I go, I'm asking people about supply chain issues. I've been like this since I was in the. I always ask people questions. That's just kind of what I do. But as long as I was in the Air Force, and I worked in production support the last year I was in, so getting parts and things like that, and wrangling and distributions and all that stuff. I've been tracking that for a long, long time. So and so I was asking the feed store today about what if they're having a hard time finding products, and that she was explaining they were having a hard time getting like chicken feed and stuff like that. See, because a lot of these, because they were getting it in a local, and they get it at local places. But what happens is a lot of this, like these businesses that have been around for 20, 30 years, right? They're closing up shop. They just took the buyout, all the COVID money. It's like, it's okay, we're old, we don't want to do it no more. And the kids aren't taking over the family business. There's not turnover in production in things. And this has been a prominent freaking topic of my conversations for the last 5 years of how I present it. So you give people a reason, and people had their reason the last couple years, so they're taking it, and then they're just staying home and buying boats and those freaking ATV, buying a bunch of bullshit. Somebody posted on a pictures of New Mexico earlier on Facebook. They posted pictures of where the fire burned through, and it's just like they're just melted. And then I think about how people want like $800,000-$900,000 and for these like 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom places because it has a nice view and some trees around it. There are almost $1 million homes, and I'm just like, man, that's bad karma. And like, no, but they deserve it is what the things that people tell themselves that they deserve. Yeah, I pray every day for clean water to drink. And food for me and Ma, and that we're all cool enough, is that everybody is comfortable. That is what I strive for in life, is just for Mom to be comfortable all the rest of her days. And all the dogs to be comfortable, because I made a lifelong commitment. And if they're comfortable, then I'm comfortable. If they're uncomfortable, I am very, very, very uncomfortable. Because I don't have all that support that, like, God, Mom, that's the thing. I see people show up for people in life in such a grand way. And there have been times when it's possible that I, too, have done that. Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's like, we were a big... On my dad's side of the family, they were always big card playing. We always played card. Everybody played games, right? That's what's happening now. The whole world, man, is playing games. We were talking about that at the earlier today with my homie Reg. I got to fellowship a little bit. It was good to fellowship a little bit. And I was like, you got... Oh, and this is another thing I saw today. I don't have Instacrap anymore. I only have Twatter. I'm down to Twatter and Facebook as far as access. But I got so fired up. It's so funny. Because downtown, where all the, important people hang out, this is what makes me mad. Is that I drove past this parking lot... There's a stop sign right there, too. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then later, I think there was a 5th one later. But this is my point. Is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here, all of these with the stripes on them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all The Forestry Department. All 4 of those trucks are from the Department of Forestry, United States Department of Forestry, U.S. Forestry Department. Those are the same bros that were freaking picking on the freaking hippies down at the hippie zoo. Bunch of fucking stoners and freaking mushroom heads hanging out, you know? Not a lot of fights ever break out there, right? But you got these freaking, you know, guys that just like to harass people. That's what they live for. They're just to harass people. Anyway, so now they started this fire, okay? And I'm guessing they're all there in their $80,000 trucks. Those trucks are like $80,000-$90,000, and they're all fucking sitting there in a parking lot. It's like the Swingin' Wiener Club, man. Every time I see this shit, it's like I see the fucking bunch of guys around the table that are all, don't you know who I fucking am? Don't you fucking know who I am? Well, I done this and this. I'm like, dude, you haven't seen your dick without a mirror for 35 years. You ain't a man. Because how you act ain't how, you know, what I have been, you know, ultimately shown what examples of good men are, that ain't fucking you, resource hog. That's what they all do. So these dipshits started the fire, and my guess is they're there because that's like where the town hall area is, so they can look at their gigantic maps on the wall. You know, that every day they get a new one. I wonder how many funds are allocated for those huge maps that they always have on the wall. You know, you could put a little one and zoom the camera in. But no, everything's a fucking show. And you know, it's funny, my buddy today earlier, the first thing I said, what do you think about the fires? He said, I think they're fucking with it. I said, I think so too. Thank you for verifying what I believe too in my heart. Because the guy knows fires. He worked fires like North Reading. Like I could have run into him like at Century Market sometime in the parking lot when I was a kid. You know that? Because that's when he fought fires up there. You know, you never know who you cross paths with. Because when you're intended to cross paths with people, you will come face to face with them. So I found out yesterday the gal Elizabeth Ann sent me a talk with Jesse the Boater that just came out like 3 days, the 11th, I think it was. One I'd never, because I don't listen to, I've heard a lot, I've heard, at this stuff, it's like redundant, you know. When I listen to her now, it's because I'm hanging out with Jesse, but I don't like a lot of the people she hangs out with. They make my third eye twitch. But she's pretty cool. But she lived in Reading for a while too. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that, I wonder why she never said that. So that's like Tillamook. She lived in Tillamook. I've been there. I have a t-shirt, Tillamook, Oregon, U.S. Highway 101. Or, yeah. I always used to get the t-shirts. I don't really do much anymore to get a t-shirt. I think the last t-shirt I bought was the Taos Farmers Market, but I don't think I went this morning, actually. It was opening day, but I'm just like, that's a yuppie zoo. That's a vibe of people. I went to support the healing folks on the green grass that get denied, where the farmers market, they submit that some freaking lady, man. I'm like, what makes her the queen of the farmers market? What does she get to say? Who gets to, you know? Everything's a club, man. Everything's a club. Everything. That's why it's like, I've had a lot of access in life. That is what is hilarious, is that as far as access, as far as like security access and things like that, when you look at people and if there's like a bubble of all of the authorizations, think about stuff like this because I'm in IT, you know, and like Active Directory with their groups and organizations and access and things like that. Well, you have groups that have all access. Yeah. So I've been in a lot of those all access groups. And it's amazing how small people, like Walmart employees and stuff like that, they love, like when I went to the farmer's market this morning. Here's an example, like that douche that I'm going to talk about the douche that works out in El Prado on the north side of town at that speedway that knocked fucking the Slurpee out of my hand, right? People like to make me wait. They like to put me in my place. Right? So like I'm like, I just walk through the farmer's market to go to get a cup of coffee at this place that it's in the same hotel where I performed my first wedding on February 22nd. And so, because I'm ordained. And that's, yeah. So, anyway. Pastor Marge. So, the lady that owns the place was like walking out. And she's like, "Oh, are you going?" So she was standing there, and she was like looking, and I was like walking in the doorway, and I said, "Hi, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, fine." Like she was not paying attention to me; she was looking at stuff, and I was like, "All right." And she's like, "Oh, are you going in there?" As I'm walking in the door, and I was like, "Yeah, but I can wait," because she was looking around, and then she locked eyes on the sidewalk where an old lady with her dogs were engaging, and so she excused herself to go offer salutations over there. So I'm just looking around at all the people and stuff, and they didn't have like, I don't know, a whole lot of people. The people that I wanted to see weren't there. Like the healing people that, because once you get denied, once you're not a part of, in line with the vision of the farmer's market, then, but you could come early and set up on the grass, because that's where the grass people can go. That could die denied by the farmer's market. Fucking people fucking crack me up. So I got my coffee. And I said, no, I always appreciate an opportunity to practice patience and tolerance. Take as long as you need. It's a nice day. That's what I said, something like that. Because people always give me an opportunity to practice patience and tolerance, because they always like to put me in my place. Not that that's what she was doing, or make me wait, or just... I'm not the person that people step up and accommodate. That is for sure. And I've seen so many people that people just step up. Yeah, like they always, like, their birthdays would come around, and like there's always, people would always bring them presents. I'm like, and I just watch these people, and they wouldn't do anything extraordinarily exceptional in life. Yet it's just weird. But I've been studying people a real long time. Real long time. I don't have a chat. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had it. So if people I haven't, since the last update, I lost my chat. So and usually people don't watch these anyway. Frankly. I mean, honestly, I mostly talk to myself lately. But hopefully people are out doing stuff, enjoying life, and they're not freaking, I prefer that people just put me in their pocket. I like telling stories, I don't need people to look and all that. Just put me in your pocket, and while you're vacuuming or cleaning the bathroom or whatever. That's what I do with talks all day. I was meditating earlier and I had on, I've been listening to books by Carl Gustav Jung. So the Allison Co put out a video today. I'll probably listen to that for my bedtime story. Oh look, there I am. Hopped Up Days. I called today's talk Hopped Up Days because it's the Dennis Hopper days here in Taos, where Dennis Hopper. Okay. So they have all these motorcycles and stuff in town where you can register and get patches and stuff. It's just a bunch of frequent people playing. I'm like, man, don't people understand that the cracks of society are only getting wider? People are getting in a harder way, but we got some freaking blinders on. We got the majority of a population with blinders on. I was telling my buddy that today. I said, you got all these offices. You got like all these county, city, and I've lived in a lot of places, so I've seen a lot of different, and I pay attention. I look at the .gov pages because I'm a freaking IT freaking minded person, so I'm always looking at human computer interface, like what's accessible and stuff like that. And we definitely, our government turned all a cart, and it's like they're putting it. It's just we're run by a society of people who have no self-control. Their egos are so rampant that at this point, our economy is just making up numbers and saying stuff. At this point, I mean, with the bullshit that they've been sending through the laundromat, that crap over yonder, and frankly, I don't care. You know what? And that's the thing, is people are like, you can't say bad things. You can't think that bad things happen every day. Things will change when bad things happen to more people. Because people aren't getting it. But everywhere I go, a lot of people are going through stuff. I told the lady at the feed store today, I said, everybody is going through something right now. And if they're not and if you don't know somebody that's going through something, or I said, for those people that aren't going through anything, I certainly hope they're stepping up to all those people that are. To do so, I mean, making meals, mowing their lawn, just helping. The guy that did the service today, he was talking about, it was a nice service. He talked a little bit too much about himself. I'm just going to say it. And then he brought it back. And because I think he knew it. But we're trying to make it relatable, that he could understand the pain that they're going through. But that man had lost, 32 people, his last aunt, a cousin, and his wife of 41 years in the last 15 months. And then 6 months ago, he had a heart attack. Not because of anything diet related, like plaque buildup or anything like that. It was a fluke because a couple of veins got twisted. He could have slept. The anomalies of the human body are endless. So it was a fluke. And so, but he had a heart, and so that was because everybody gets to the point. Do you want to enjoy your life, embrace life, value life, or do you want to transition? Because when people get the idea that they want to I've said it before. I'm done. I can't do it. It's too painful. Take me now. Just take me. Why do I keep living if it's just hurts emotionally, physically? If life isn't supposed to be that way. And then I find the joy. And if I can't find the joy, I stay busy. I try to make some joy for somebody else. That is one thing that I've always been good at, is being in service. There's always garbage that could be picked up. There's always some way to improve the environment in which we're in. I ain't never had that mentality that's for somebody else to do it. No. Ain't nobody done it up to this point. I guess I'm that fucking somebody. I don't like it when, people just got real lazy and they're going to find either they're going to want to live or they're just succumb to their freaking gluttony. In whatever that capacity that means. Overindulgence. Too much drink. This is one of those times, man. This is one of those times. If you are prone to alcohol, like I am an alcoholic. I do not consume alcohol because once I start, I don't stop. I break out in handcuffs. I end up in different states. I have a lot of stories from drinking. I don't want more drinking stories. I understand, this is my perception and how I've always understood alcohol. I've watched when I was a kid, because mom had boyfriends that liked to drink a lot. Where we lived, people partied and carried on and stuff like that. And bad things always happen. So I would watch, and it's like they start drinking, and I could see their it was like there's how do I describe it? I could see like the goodness go, like where the people would start getting more snide, because it's not fun to be around drunk people. It's not. I don't have fun, because I'm like, oh my God, I was so gross and just a pig. I blacked out a lot too. I call them memory fades. Other people I know have called it time traveling. You go in a blackout and then like you come out of it, And it's like I'll be like playing that, like doing a movie in my head kind of thing, and the next day people will be mad at me and they'll be like, do you know what you, and so I'm like, I'll be like, shit, I only thought, how did I say that, who did so stuff like that. I make a lot of people mad when I get, because I make people mad when I'm stone cold sober, so I just opt out. Just plant medicine only for old Marjo. Just old plant medicine for old Marjo. So, when we were at the park today, it was a pretty day. I was talking about how, I'm going to wrap it up. In all these offices, in all these city, county, they've created all these offices, right? And a lot of it derives from the military. People get out of the military and then they go to the freaking, local, and then they make things in the public sector. They make things how they want, they just make things as their own. All these cities and ideas of cities and lack and neglect and of roads and all that stuff. That's just people that don't know what they're doing. In seats, in jobs where they're getting paid a lot of money and drive big old fancy trucks and live in big old houses and go around talking about, I know what I'm doing, and it's not getting done so this country's really ready for a huge turnover. Yep. Because CAD is not gonna freaking, the thing is people aren't learning how to do the hard work, because everybody's taking the easier, softer way. People are taking the easier, softer way. So people aren't learning the hard trades. They're not doing the hard work, right? So it's gonna get harder to stay on top of roads and infrastructure and stuff like that. Especially, the weather's only gonna get nuttier. The weather's gonna get insane between now and the end of the month. It's gonna get so well, because you know why? Because every year it does it. The more torrential storms, the bigger, more grandy gross. Whether some dipshits behind a control panel are doing it at frickin' NOAA, the national weather, making it rain and whatever, whether it's that, God, and, it doesn't matter. We create the external. So the more chaotic people are feeling internally, it will reflect on the external, and there will be great chaos. And it's so funny, because Mom taught me my whole life, don't pick up the bullshit, and I've always been kind of like that. Like when I get caught up, when people get anxious, I get anxious because I'm empath. I'm like a little emotional tuning fork. What people are feeling, I'm like, all right, whatever. Okay, I feel it. It hurts. You're hurting. I hurt. Okay, go ahead and please. What can I do to make you feel better? I'm one of those. It hurts in my my adrenals when people are sad. So, my train of thought derailed. I lost it. My whole train of thought just derailed. So I'm done because I'm about at my done talkie time anyway. Oh, 36